is electric.
Hi everyone, welcome back for another energy related video. My name's Nigel. I'm here to talk to you about export today and smart export guarantees. It's a question I am asked so many times, especially lately. Why am I not being paid for a smart export guarantee? Why, when I export my energy back to the grid, am I not being paid? And it's not for the reasons that you might think. So many people will think, oh, I haven't got my D&O letter. I do have. So many people think I didn't have an MCS installation, which sort of isn't required anymore with Octopus Energy. I do have my MCS certificates. So if I've got all the documentation, if I'm entitled to it, why am I not claiming? Why am I not subscribing to a tariff where I can get paid for my export? And there are three main reasons. But before we get into what those reasons are, let's talk about solar and export and the way we use it, because it's changed. And I do wonder whether it's going to keep changing again. So let's go back quite a few years, and people installed solar panels. They cost an absolute fortune. There were some good fit tariffs around, feed-in tariffs. So these were concessions, these were grants given to us for installing solar panels, and you were paid for what you generated. So now those fit schemes, because they've been index linked and they've gone up and up and up, they're like 50 pence a kilowatt hour for the people that installed them early. Pretty good going, isn't it? 50 pence a kilowatt hour. So when you're making that much money and you're paying for your solar panels, it's all about what you generate. Consumption and export are meaningless because it just doesn't matter. You're not getting paid for it. So everyone was only concerned what they generate, and using it wasn't really a big concern. But then energy prices were coming down and the fit tariffs disappeared. I actually got one of the last fit tariffs. So when I installed my first 3.6 kilowatt array, I went with a fit tariff, and I think I'm now paid about 7 pence a kilowatt hour for the generation. And there's some deemed export. So the way it pays me for export is it estimates that I'm going to export 50% of what I generate. So I don't have to calculate what I export, I don't have to use it or not use it, it's just automatically paid to me. Half of what I generate is given back to me again as another payment for export, whether I use it or whether I don't. So it's brilliant. In the winter especially, I'm not exporting anything and I'm still generating and I'm getting paid for export, even though it's not happening. So although it's quite good, I was right on the end of the fit schemes and paid not very much at all. So when you're paid just 7 pence a kilowatt hour, and it was only a couple of pence a kilowatt hour for the export, and then the smart export guarantees when they first came out were 3, 4, 5 pence a kilowatt hour if you were lucky, then people didn't care about export because the money wasn't worth much. So we've gone from generating, and all we care about is generating, to suddenly it's all about consumption, because you're not being paid for export, you're not getting any fit tariff anymore, so using it is saving you energy from bringing energy from the grid instead. So we've gone from caring about generation to caring about consumption. Well, then we have the energy crisis and prices go up of energy, and now you can get 15 pence a kilowatt hour export on Octopus Intelligent, the tariff that I'm on. And there are some other good tariffs as well. So I'll stick just with the Octopus type tariffs, but Octopus Flux, where you can export at peak times and get even more. Octopus Agile, where you can export, and whatever the wholesale rate is, you can export at that. So there were times when you're making £1, £2 a kilowatt hour for export. So this change in the price of energy and having access to those prices through schemes from Octopus Energy means that we now care about export. So we're in quite a daft situation right now where I can run my house and charge my car and charge my batteries and heat my hot water and do all of that from my 7.5 pence a kilowatt hour cheap rate tariff overnight. So I can try to use as much grid as I can. This is even in the summer. Try to use the grid as much as possible. And then during the day, export everything, because I'm getting paid 15 pence a kilowatt hour. Well, if I was on one of these tariffs. So why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you have all your consumption at 7.5 pence and then all your export at 15 pence? Because instead of getting solar energy for free, which is what I've always said, it's for free, then you're actually being paid for it. You're being paid 7.5 pence, the difference between what you're buying your energy at versus what you're selling your energy at. So it does make financial sense now to not use your solar energy, to not consume it at all. And that sort of messes with your head a bit, doesn't it? That all we cared about was generation initially, then all we cared about was consumption. Now, in theory, all we care about is export to maximise how much money we're going to make from electricity and our renewable solar energy, the solar panels and batteries. So things are changing. So with that in mind, let's talk about the 3 reasons why I haven't got a smart export guarantee. And you really won't guess what the first one is. I can't be bothered. The admin, I really don't like doing admin. And I was probably one of those people that initially didn't like to swap energy tariffs. And it's a pain in the bum going through lots of admin processes to get that done. And then you got the hassle if you have to speak to them on the phone and you can't get through to them. You're on hold for ages, and then they keep asking questions and then you haven't quite got it right. All the things you might invent that might or might not happen that make you think, I don't want to do this. It's admin. But Octopus Energy have made that really, really good, because when I've swapped tariffs inside Octopus Energy and when I swapped from Bulb to Octopus Energy, it really was quite easy and simple, and they looked after it all. So again, why haven't I gone with a smart export guarantee? And mostly it is that it's admin and I don't want to do it. And also there's the issue that I'm on a FIT scheme with deemed export. So to move from that, which I've got with E.ON Energy, I have to give up that deemed export. So I have to tell E.ON that I no longer want to receive payments, take me off the FIT register for deemed export. Keep me on for generation, I'll have that money, thank you very much. But take me off for the deemed. Once I'm off the FIT register for receiving deemed export, then Octopus Energy, if I apply for it, can put me on for a smart export guarantee, and you apply to the DNO and you get an export MPAN number or whatever it's called, and hey presto. So it's more admin though, isn't it, about talking to E.ON, getting the final meter readings, talking to Octopus. Octopus give you because I've started to look into it several times now, and the 2 things that I looked into was, can I move my FIT tariff from E.ON to Octopus, which yes I can, and how do I go about doing that? And then if the FIT tariff was with Octopus, it then should be easy to get rid of the deemed export and go with a smart export guarantee. So I looked into that to start with. And they wanted a battery schematic diagram from me, as well as the DNO and the MCS certificates. So they wanted even more documentation. It was really nice that they had a questionnaire you just fill in for the transfer. And it seemed quite simple, but then right at the end they want these extra things. And you think, well, I haven't got a schematic to hand. I've got the one that I did online for my YouTube, but it's not an electrical schematic. It doesn't really show what the real isolation switch devices are and stuff. So I'm uncertain as to whether the diagram that I've got is good enough to give to them for it. So I sort of pulled out of that and didn't go ahead with the swap from E.ON Energy to Octopus for my FIT tariff. But I have now started the process for taking on a smart export guarantee. And the process, as I said, you fill out a survey of all the things that you have on your system and how you want to move from deemed export, and you're basically signing away your rights for it. And it sounds like Octopus is going to do it all and handle the communication between E.ON and themselves and do everything. But lo and behold, it doesn't work like that. I have to talk to E.ON specifically and ask them for confirmation, and ask them for a final reading, and then ask them for something else to do with Octopus. It is a bit convoluted, and I can understand why, because if it was okay for one energy company to change what you do, and if Octopus could affect my FIT register for deemed export themselves and then put me on board, then that would mean that unscrupulous energy companies would have the power to disconnect you from one supplier and put you on with themselves. And you don't really want that. You do want the customer to have to give approval to your existing energy supplier. So I sort of understand why these authorizations and why the separation between the energy companies is there. But when you want to transfer, it's a pain in the bum. I tried to communicate with E.ON on Twitter and they were very good, but then couldn't talk to the FIT team. They gave me a telephone number, I couldn't get through on the telephone number. I eventually got an email address and sent away a request for that. 3 days later, they're now starting to process my request. So it is admin, it's easy, but it's a bit of a pain in the bum, and it's that anticipation of being a pain in the bum is the main reason why I didn't get a smart export guarantee. The second reason though, as well as the admin, is I don't really need to. Again, I can't be bothered because my energy bills are so low because I'm using solar energy and battery storage to run overnight and cheap rate energy. My bills are so low that how much more can I save? How much more is the benefit? Is it really worth it? So if I'm already happy with my energy bills, and my direct debit at the moment is just £1 a month, so that's because, thank you very much for those people using my referral code, which is in the description of this video. So if my bill is only £20 to £30 a month, and I'm getting a referral come in for 50, then every time someone uses my referral code, and thank you very much for doing it because it is a real big help, because it means I can do these videos and I can also not care about whether I'm swapped tariffs, etc. So I can do these things for the fun of it. Anyway, enough of that. So monetarily, I just don't need that extra money. So why do it? If you're happy, the grass isn't always greener. So it's the sort of thing, I just haven't been bothered, so I keep going back to that. I couldn't be bothered doing it. There wasn't a big enough reason to want me to do it. And the third and final thing is the change of emphasis. As I said, how energy markets and prices have changed. We've gone from generation, and that's all we care about, to consumption, that's all we care about. And now, if it's from a monetary point of view, then it's all about export and maximising your income through your energy tariff. I mean, how about that? Our electricity tariff with our energy supplier is now about how to maximise my income from it, rather than how big are my bills. Do I really want to change how I use energy here and how I care about energy? It's been hard enough for Susan to get to grips around with the idea of, can I put the washing machine on? Is it okay to put the oven on? Is there enough solar? All those sort of things, because we don't want to drain the battery and we don't want to consume from the grid. So is it the right time of day? Is it free energy? Can we delay from doing things overnight and do it during the day when we've got solar power? All of those sort of things. All of that goes away. And instead of trying to consume energy, we've got to not consume any. And I sort of fear for that change, because if during the night and the cheap rate period we're trying to consume as much as possible, that I don't mind. Charge the battery, heat the hot water, charge the car, put the washing on, all fine. But the daytime tasks of cutting the lawn with the electric lawnmower, or cooking, or doing your washing and drying it, etc., those things are good when solar's on, so we can adjust our time to when the right time of day is for the most economical, the most green time for us to do those tasks. But with export being paid for, and that's an income, there'll be Susan saying, I want to put a wash on, and can I dry 2 loads today? And I'm saying, but it's a really sunny day. I want to export it all. I want to make an income from that. And getting your head around letting go. One minute you let go and you just consume the energy, then the next moment you're trying to export as much as possible for a profit. Where's your emphasis? Where's the priority? And that change from how Susan and I react to using energy here in the house, I do worry, let's say. I wonder, I worry as to whether we will adapt well to that, because as I've tried to say with these things, solar and batteries are going to pay for themselves. The energy coming from the sun on our solar panels is free energy. In fact, you can now be paid an income from it. But I don't really care about the money. It's not all about the money. It just feels good using my own energy. So will I lose that feel-good factor because I won't be using my energy anymore? I'll be trusting Octopus energy to make sure the grid is green and using as much as possible from the grid, which is dirtier, because I know there's a gas turbine just down the road and a nuclear power station in Suffolk that's powering us partly. I do worry about that change of emphasis, because in theory, because it's more profitable for me to export my energy and to use cheap rate energy overnight, it should be greener, because the greener it is, the cheaper it is, because the more renewables it's using. That should be the theory, but it's not quite there. What we're actually saying is it's more profitable for Octopus to give me the 15 pence during the day and let me pay only 7.5 pence in the evening. It's more profitable for them to do that. So because it's more profitable for them, they give the money to me, so I'm making money. It doesn't actually make it greener. Not yet, not until we're all fully renewables and those sort of things. So I'm apprehensive for those three reasons. One, I can't be bothered, and the admin and the fear of the admin being a pain in the bum. Two, we've got the I can't be bothered because I'm already got such cheap electricity bills. Do I need any more? And the last one, yeah, that change of emphasis about consuming energy. It concerns me a little bit. But as I've just said, I have now applied for a smart export guarantee. The process is underway and I've sent across final meter readings to E.ON. I should be coming off the deemed export soon and should be going on to a smart export guarantee. So we'll see how we get on with that and I'll let you know how it goes. But I bet one of the big questions for this video, well, how much is it worth? How much could I make if I went on a smart export guarantee? So that's the next phase of this video. I'm now doing it. So what is the difference it's going to make monetarily to me? And I'll look at two tariffs, I think. I'll look at the 15 pence a kilowatt hour for export on Octopus Intelligent, the one I've got right now. And then I'll also look at Flux as well. Because instead of getting paid 15 pence, what I could do is not export during some of the day and then only export at the peak time and just export from the battery. And in the summer, obviously, I'll be able to export during the day as well, because if it's from 4 o'clock till 7 o'clock, there's still daylight, I could still be exporting. So if I look at those two tariffs, this is what the numbers look like. So starting right from the beginning, that's 8,987 kilowatt hours is what we generated in 2022. But of course, only one of my arrays is eligible for the FIT generation scheme. So that's 4,611 kilowatt hours that we generated from the 3.6 kilowatt array. So 4,611 kilowatt hours times 4.78 pence. That's what we're paid from the FIT scheme for our generation. That's £220.40. We're still going to get that. But the export part of that is half of the generation. So 2,305 kilowatt hours times 6.79 pence. That's 156.54. If and when I move to a smart export guarantee, that's what I'm going to lose to start with. So I'm already down 156.54. So if all of that export, 3,100 kilowatt hours, was exported and I got 15 pence a kilowatt hour from the SEG tariff with Octopus Intelligent, that'd be £465. I'm £309 better off. So giving up deemed generation on the FIT tariff is most certainly the right thing to do and go with a smart export guarantee if I can get enough money per kilowatt hour. So at 15 pence, it's definitely worth it. But it can be even better than that. If you look at other alternative products like Agile or Flux, then the amount you can get paid for your export is even more. So let's have a look at the Flux tariff. So Flux has both import tariff rates and export tariff rates. So if I just look at the export side only, then I'll explain the three. The day rate is every other time other than the flux rate or peak rate, and that's 16.93 pence that I'll get for every kilowatt hour we export. The flux rate is the overnight cheap rate where you can import cheap energy overnight, and at the export time, they won't want to give you very much money, and that's 5.76 pence. And then the peak rate, so that's when energy is at its peak and it's the most expensive, that's when they'll give me the most money. So it's best for me to wait until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then export from the battery or solar and gain 28.1 pence per kilowatt hour. If I exported 5 kilowatt hours every day at that peak rate, that'd be £512. Then the rest of the kilowatt hours would all be at the day rate because I wouldn't be exporting in the middle of the night. There's no solar and I wouldn't want to export from the battery and get not a lot for it. So 16.93 pence times another 1,500 kilowatt hours is £253. £765 in total. So although this sounds like a no-brainer, and basically if they're paying me more I should go on to a tariff like this, the import rate for this tariff is more expensive. So if I stayed on this tariff all year, in the winter when I'm drawing from the grid to charge the car, heat the hot water, charge the battery, all those sort of things, it would be costing me more. So I'd probably lose £200, £250 of spending more going on to a tariff like this and staying on it all year. The absolute sweet spot is to be on Flux when you're exporting lots and you have lots of solar energy, then move across to something like Go or Intelligent tariff when you're not getting a lot of solar and you're not exporting as much. But as I started right at the beginning, what are the reasons for not changing so far? I can't be bothered. So can I be bothered swapping tariff every year to optimize it? So there you go. There's some examples of what I could make money-wise from a Smart Export Guarantee, but what am I going to do? Which product am I going to go with and stay with? I'm currently on the Octopus Intelligent Tariff, and hopefully I'll be getting this 15 pence export, but will I move across to Agile or Flux? Will that be better? It definitely seems to make more money, but can I be bothered swapping tariffs every year? Will the admin put me off? Well, I hope you found that interesting. I've found it quite difficult to hold back and not share with you why I'm doing it, because I feel a bit guilty. You know, it's not the best of things to say I can't be bothered, or I don't need the money, or, you know, those sort of things, but they're just my genuine reasons, and I try to be as honest and open with you as I can about these things. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it makes sense as to why I haven't gone with a Smart Export Guarantee previously, but I am now. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. More videos coming soon. So keep an eye out for the monthly stats video, which should be coming quite soon after this one. Bye for now.